Welcome back to another episode of TVGP's Critical Misses. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpier.
Hi, what do we do here again?
We're catching up all the media hits we missed. This time, season
Okay.
26, which is wild. We're catching up on the best of 2023. The year passed. Last year.
Oh,
Those halcyon days. Nothing
it
went wrong.
feels like it's been about 4 months since New Year, dude. Like it feel like
It
my
really
time
has.
has like I don't even know
Yeah,
anymore.
it's been a rough couple of weeks for everyone here at E1M1 Enterprises. But I'm pretty excited to watch this movie.
Mhm.
I think the I when they announced this movie, I was like, yeah, okay, sure. And they started showing
Mhm.
it stuff of it off, and I was like, wait, what? And then like,
It was for me the very first time. The announcement for this kind of was like, okay, sure, why not? We've got a Transformers movie. Why shouldn't we have a
sure.
Barbie movie? We've had GI Joe. We've had all of the boys' toys into action movies. So why can
Hmm.
we not? No Shawn Michaels, unfortunately. Why can we not? That was a wrestling joke. Sorry. Um, why can we not have one of the girls' toys turned into a movie?
Hmm.
Which I love the fact that they did, and I was sold when I first saw the very first trailer, and she takes her feet out of her shoes and remains in the Barbie foot
Yep.
pose.
Yep.
That shot, I was like,
The
okay, they get it. They
2001
get it.
trailer, which was really good.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because I have a daughter and we watch a lot of Barbie stuff, like the animated stuff. A lot
Hmm.
of it is genuinely really good nowadays. You know, there's always the kind of classic thing of like, LOL, math is hard. You know, like that hasn't been Barbie for a very long time, thankfully. Um,
Yes.
a lot of modern Barbie is like, no man, I designed robots. Shut up. Like,
Hmm.
I know what I'm doing here. Also, I'm a mermaid, but don't worry about that. Um,
Well,
so
Barbie specialized. Like she went and she got her, 6-year degree, and now
yeah,
she's a specialized in many, 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 many different fields.
that's right. That's right. So the idea of like coming out with a live action Barbie movie at that point was sort of like, okay, sure, that's great. And like you said, that trailer came out, and then there was a bunch of other stuff, especially the "My Job Is Beach" clip that came out, and I was like, oh,
Yes.
okay, now I'm picking up what you're putting down. All right, I'm I'm here. I'm interested in what you're putting out. And then
And
the
also, like,
hmm,
Robbie, and what's his face as well.
mhm.
Like, what? What is that guy's name? My brain has just
This is
farted.
why I always have the Wikipedia page up, and this is why I didn't do it this time, which is a real bummer. Ryan Gosling,
Thank you. I knew it was Orion. I couldn't remember the last name.
one of them, one of
Um,
those Ryans.
but everything I've seen both of them, and they knock it out the park. I mean,
Yeah,
we've covered Margot Robbie on the show for Suicide Squad and
right.
Birds of
Her
Prey.
her most famous roles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of her most famous roles, yes, but everything I've ever seen her in, like, she seems like a fantastic actress. So I was like,
Hmm.
cool, why not? And Ryan Gosling is the quiet, stoic type, so him playing Ken seems like the perfect casting, to be honest.
Hmm.
Let's face it.
I wasn't sure what to think of him in this role until I saw that "My Job Is Beach" clip, and I was like,
Hmm.
okay, he gets it. Like I think he
Yeah.
knows exactly how far to lean into this role, and I
Hmm.
even from that short clip, I feel like he nailed it. Um, and then most interestingly, the man babies of the internet started crying, "Oh, woke this and oh this and that and the other thing." I was
Hmm.
like, all right, so it's probably a pretty good movie if it's making a bunch of dumb white dudes on the internet uncomfortable. So I should definitely probably watch
Yes.
this.
When the incels of the world unite and start review bombing something, that's when I should probably go see it.
That's right. That's right. So I feel like all of that together is kind of a good combination, at least for me, of thinking, all right, this is probably something. And it's probably something that I will enjoy. I mean, in 2023 we had the Barbie cross Oppenheimer sort of
Yeah, I think
release
you mean
date.
Barbieheimer,
Yes, the Barbieheimer. Um, we
which was
kind of
the
had
Animal Crossing Doom of its time.
that's right, that's right. I forgot about that. Um, so
I
we had
still
kind
don't
of
think
a
you'll get anything better than the music video, which was the mashup of the two styles.
mhm.
The animated video of Doom and Animal
Oh, so
Crossing.
good. They're best friends. But it was kind of fun that we got a fun kind of like cultural touchstone between those two
Mhm.
movies, which I'm not sure that
You
if it
know,
helped me personally, but I think it made more people aware of it at least.
oh, 100%. And like, they started doing double features, right? Like a bunch
Hmm.
of theaters started doing double features
Yeah.
with both of them back to back.
Yep. And
Question is, what goes first? Like,
it's
that's the
true.
question.
And the other thing too, I really liked. It's in early 2024. I'm having a let them have fun sort of moment about something else that's going on culturally that I don't want to date this episode with, but I loved seeing people getting super dressed up and like turning going to Barbie into an event.
Hmm.
Like they're getting dressed up in outfits. They had the big like Barbie box that you could pose in with your outfit and everything. I was like, yeah,
Yep.
man, like let's make going to the movies a fun activity, like a fun event instead of just it's okay to go see the movies because they have air conditioning and it's 95 degrees and super humid. We've all been there.
Hmm.
I encourage you to do that. It's great. But I
Yes.
like the idea of kind of having fun going to the movies, and I liked seeing that for this one.
Yeah. And to be honest, that's how the movie industry is going to save itself. Like,
Yeah,
you're gonna need to start doing more things about making it fun again.
yeah,
Like, if you're gonna charge me $50 to come and see this movie,
that's right.
then I better be getting something extra with it.
That's right. That's right. Um, so all that being said, for me, I feel like I'm pretty excited to watch Barbie. How are you feeling going into this?
I'm pretty excited. Um, I'm. I have a feeling there's a swerve.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Do you know
I
anything
don't
about the
know.
plot of this?
Not a thing.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm glad I didn't
Literally,
talk about it then.
I'm I'm going in as blind as humanly possible. Like, the
Mm-hmm.
only thing I know is these two are in it. John Cena is in it, um,
Yes,
who
he is.
also plays Ken.
Yep. Michael Cera is in it as well.
That one I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know there's a bunch of people doing Barbies and a bunch of people doing Kens.
Right.
Will Ferrell is in it, I think, as an actual human and a
He
bad
is.
guy too.
I think he's
So
like the toy executive. That
he's
feels
the dad from the Lego movie,
yeah,
which is
like if
perfect casting.
it feels very much like a Will Ferrell. If I was to, I don't know 100%, but if I was to assume a role for him, it would be some sort of like stuffy, we have to stop Barbie sort of toy
Hmm.
executive.
Yes, Captain Suit or whatever his name is in the Lego movie.
Oh my god,
Um,
I watch those movies all the time and I don't remember what his name is.
Captain Mr. Business, Mr. Business.
Yes, Mr. Business.
Um, like, that's him too, and it makes perfect sense.
Yep.
But that's literally all I know. I don't know anything. I don't know
Okay.
if they go to the real world. I don't know if they stick in the Barbie world. I don't know if it's a hybrid of the two. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if there's some existential crisis in the middle of it at some point too. Like,
Speaking of
literally
Barbie
know
World,
nothing.
do you think we'll get that song in here?
Oh, we better. Like,
Yeah.
there is no questions. Like, we better get that song in here at some point.
That song opens the movie, maybe?
If you're gonna do it, that's the place to do it. I mean,
Right.
come on.
Yeah. Man, I love Aqua. Super guilty
As a
pleasure for me.
as a man of taste, of course
Yes,
you do.
that's right. We are the cartoon heroes, Moon. Um,
Yes.
I know kind of the general gist of the plot here, but I'm also going into this fairly blind in a way that, for as popular as this movie was, I'm not sure I know too much about the plot other than maybe the big push of it, which is kind of surprising now that we're talking about it.
Hmm.
Um, which is also exciting. Because I feel like most times when movies this big get this big, it's always like, all right, I've seen 400 GIFs on Twitter. I've seen a quarter of the movie through clips from some other stuff, and I haven't seen that at all this time.
Yeah, the YouTube clips compilation of the shocking moment from this movie kind of thing.
That's right. I'm sure Cinema Wins has a video out there that I'll have to watch.
Cinema Wins does, and I'm pretty sure
Nice.
Cinema Sins does as well. So
Well,
screw the second guy, celebrate
right.
the first guy.
Less said about Sins, but the better. Well, what's the tagline for Cinema Wins? Like celebrating the positives, something like that. It's something about that.
Hold on, I'll find out really quick because it's actually really good.
Yeah. But it's
because
sort of,
liking things is more fun than not liking things.
Yeah. See, that's also kind of like our unofficial kind of ethos here. Is like, it's more fun. It's better for you to try and find the positives in as much as you can, or trying to find as much fun as you can.
One could argue that Tron Evolution is not a good movie. Don't come at me with that. It's one of the best movies that exists.
That's so good. I love it. All right. On that note, Moon, are you ready to go watch the film?
I think I'm about as ready as I'll ever be, I guess. I'm going to curl up into a ball under a blanket and watch it at some point.
All right, let's go do it.
Yep.
And we're back. We've returned from Barbie Land to the real world.
From outer space.
That's right. That's right. Insert your favorite Portal joke here.
Yes. Let's get the biggest question out of the way first and foremost.
Is the patriarchy run by horses or not? Sadly for Ken, no.
No. No, I was talking about the fact that Barbie Girl is technically in this movie.
Yes. I was maybe surprised or not surprised. I still can't figure out that it didn't open with that, but hearing the dulcet tones in the background partway through the movie, credits. And the closing credits, yeah. And I was like, all right, you got it in there somewhere. I appreciate maybe trying to not
do the original.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that was in there somewhere.
Yes.
Gosh, where the hell to start with this movie?
Well, we might as well start with the fact that I still haven't seen Space 2001, so the intro was funny / bewildering to me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much a straight riff off of one of the more famous scenes of that movie. So
yeah, I know the meme. So that's how I know it is because of that, and also because it's being like ripped so much, and also because of Zap Zarathruda or whatever the hell that music is called. Which
the famous track we spake whatever.
AKA Ric Flair's entrance music for the wrestling fans among us.
Oh no,
100% did.
Yeah. And
Charlotte Flair uses it too, except she uses like a funky remix version of it with like a beat and everything.
Right. Yeah, I like that Margot Robbie is stereotypical Barbie. I like that they even call her that in the movie.
Yeah, I'm the Barbie you think of when you think of a Barbie. It's me.
Right.
Can we just throw off the thanks to Barbie, all equal rights and issues with feminism have been solved line right at the beginning?
It's so... Okay, I really liked this movie. Pretty much the entirety of the way through. And it's because of stuff like that.
I'm so torn. Like, there's bits that I adore, and bits that I cannot stand in the slightest.
Okay.
But that was like, okay, I'm writing that down as a note because, oh boy, that is one of the best lines to, like, open the movie with, because it's like, literally it says that, it's like, well, at least according to the Barbies.
Right. I think probably my favorite line of of this one is note to filmmakers: Margot Robbie is the wrong person
Is
to
the wrong
cast if you
person
want to
to
make this
cast.
point.
Yes, 100%.
They're really good. Like we get it. We know this lady is uh, certainly the stereotypical Barbie.
Hmm.
So like it's really good.
I do like the fact that your girl is back again.
Who's my girl?
Helen Mirren doing the narrator voice.
Yes. Yes, my favorite popping up in places unknown, Helen
Hmm.
Mirren showing up and just, I mean, if you're gonna get a cool like British lady to do your voiceover, you could do a lot
There's like
worse.
4 or 5 that you choose, really, and
Yeah,
Helen Mirren is one of them.
that's right.
Correction. Dame Helen Mirren is right at the top of
That's
that
right.
list.
That's right.
To use her
Please use
full
her full
title.
name. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Um I I thought a lot of the intro was pretty good here. I
Hmm.
like the like overly bubblegum Barbie world,
Yes. And I like the
including
fact that they do everything as toys would do. Like the shower with
yes,
no water,
yep,
the milk with no milk, the
mm-hmm.
breakfast where and I especially like the fact that it becomes a repeating joke where she keeps just pouring stuff on her face because she's not used to anything being in there.
What, will you make fun of me because I don't know how to drink tea? It's like no.
Yes. Like
um,
that's really good.
yeah, I think all of the Kens are really good. Um,
Hmm.
Ryan Gosling and the other big one, Simu Liu. He's
Yes.
the other Ken, the rival Ken. I think the two of them are especially really, both of them I think really got the role. You know, in the way that you
Hmm.
could tell Gosling did from the trailers. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I think maybe that's the thing I'm kind of impressed by with. I can't think of anybody that didn't seem to really get it in this movie. Like, everybody seemed to really understand the role and understand that you're leaning into it and your tongue is all the way in cheek the entire time.
Yes.
That
A
has to
hundred
be
percent.
a really hard line to straddle for this movie.
But the fact that they also do like super deep cuts on everything, like
Mm-hmm.
Midge and Alan, which
Mm-hmm.
is just like, ho-
Michael Michael Cera is so good, and him playing Alan is just the
it's
perfect role for him.
yes, like
God, I
it's
love him so
shocking how
much.
good he is in that role, and the
Yeah.
fact that he just wants to escape is pretty hilarious too.
Mm-hmm. I think the only character that I didn't like, and it's probably because I'm not supposed to, but it's something that I feel like if you had your toy, you had a Barbie or a doll like this growing up, it probably
Hmm.
hit harder. But Weird Barbie was the only one that I feel like was kind of. I'm not like the biggest Kate McKinnon fan in the first place. Like, I don't hate her or anything, but
So here's the
mm,
funny thing. I do not watch SNL. I do not watch SNL because I think it
okay,
has a habit of breaking horrible things down into things that are quote unquote not as bad as they actually are.
mm,
Go look at SNL run during the Trump election period
mm,
and the Trump presidency. That whole thing just it took the it didn't take the teeth off of him because he's definitely got plenty of teeth, but it took the sharp edges of what people should be criticizing about and made a
sure,
joke of them. And I don't appreciate that. Like there's a lot there that causes issues. So as such, I don't watch SNL.
mm-hmm.
I don't like it. I've never seen any of it. I'm not interested in being involved in it in the slightest.
Also, to be
Everything I've
blunt,
seen,
we're not 13, so we're not watching SNL.
true.
Feel free to cancel me for that one, internet.
I do like the Weekend Update, specifically the
That's always
jokes that
been
they
the
do.
strongest, yeah.
Yeah, Colin and is Colin and Josh, I think it is,
Mm,
who when they do the jokes for each other, it's classic because you both know they're both trying to get each other in as much trouble as possible, and it's
that's right.
hilarious
That's
watching the
right.
reactions. But I have no experience with Kate McKinnon in SNL. The only thing I have experience with her in is 2 movies, basically.
Okay.
Yes, 2 movies, which is this and Ghostbusters. And I think she
Mm.
portrays weird, like that particular brand of weird, really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
I think she does it in Ghostbusters really well. I think she does it here really well.
Yeah, I unfortunately haven't seen that Ghostbusters yet, as much as I've wanted to.
Surprisingly fun, dude. Like a lot
Yeah.
of fun in there. Um, and she's very similar in that role as she is in this, where she's just slightly, no joke intended, off the wall,
Right.
um, and a little bit deranged, but in a madcappy scientist kind of way, which is essentially what she does here too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I really liked Weird Barbie, especially the fact that they lean into the bad hair, the drawings on the face,
Always
all
in
of that
splits.
kind of stuff. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the amount of time that they spend in the Barbie land, and I feel like they spend just enough time in there that by the time you get to the real world, you're sort of like, okay, perfect. Yes, we're ready to get out of here. We're ready to see what the rest of this is. And I I also, can we mention John Cena as Ken Made?
Yes. Appropriate choosing.
Yeah. I like so much of the real world stuff, and it's appropriate and horrible that like the first thing that Barbie runs into is just being demeaned, and like I don't know if sexual assaults is the right term, but probably. And it's one of those like, yeah, I mean that's kind of funny, but not maybe a little too real to be incredibly super funny.
Yeah. So I think that is something that I think this movie does incredibly well.
Yeah.
Is I think it balances that line between, hey, this is what's really going on, and this is
Mm-hmm.
what Barbie thinks is going on. Like it is
Yeah.
a illusion shattering um
Mm-hmm.
kind of movie. Which, hey, if you're a guy and you complained about how the movie represents men, look around, dude.
Maybe watch it again, bro. Like,
Like, even just go outside and look around. Like,
I mean, the movie's so blatantly tackles it head on. Like when Ken is looking for a job, and he's like, "I thought we were doing a patriarchy," and the guy's like, "No, no. I mean, we are. We're just being like way quieter about it." It's like, yeah, they're literally telling you the thing, man. Um,
mhm.
I do like how Ken is so pumped that patriarchy is a real thing, and like
Yeah,
he's borrowing books about like men and horses and trucks. It's just like
yes,
he's like a 5-year-old that's like, I know how to read enough to read this dope book about trucks.
yes. I do think it's kind of funny because Ken is the afterthought in the Barbie world
Right.
because Ken is an afterthought in the Barbie doll line. Like,
Right.
it's exactly what it is. And I do like the fact that they use that and lean into it probably a bit more than it is real, but
Mm-hmm.
they lean into it enough to so that when it flips into the real world and it's like literally the opposite, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I get why a an impressionable young man like Ken might go down this road
Sure. Right.
instead of, paying attention.
Right. And like lashing out in the back half of the movie of being like, no, I'm gonna do a
Mhm.
patriarchy. Like I have the power. Look at who I
And it's
am.
all
I'm a
your fault,
man.
Bobby.
Exactly. Like, and then like the other side of the coin with Will Ferrell as the CEO of Mattel doing an okay job in this. Not one of
Yeah,
my
Lord
favorite.
Business was better.
Yeah, not one of my favorite Will Ferrell roles, but like he doesn't need to do much in this movie. He largely needs to just sit in the boardroom with like 8 other dudes running this Barbie toy company,
Hmm.
which the like the Barbie having the moment of Barbie having the realization moment that you have at the beginning of the movie of like, oh, there's this room only has dudes in it. Okay, that is pretty on the nose. But her having like, oh, who's the CEO? Oh, that's me. Who's the CFO? That's me. Who's the CIO? That's me. And the like heartbreaking line of, she's like, you don't have any women working here, and the guy from a couple floors down is like, I'm a guy with no power. Does that make me a woman? I was like, oh boy. Ha, cha 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 cha.
Yeah, that was a little odd. Little.
Like, it's so very on the nose that it's like, oh boy. Yep, okay. You're going for the throat on this one. But the thing that I like the twist in this movie of the girl Sasha isn't the one who's become disenfranchised with Barbie, and
it's the mom, not the girl. I think that's
it's the mom and the girl. Like I like that too, especially like I still kind of don't know how I feel about her, who's America Ferrera's character, Gloria, who again, America Ferrera is incredible as she is in everything. But I like that she has become disenfranchised with Barbie as a toy because of her tween kind of growing apart from her. So she's like trying to recapture her kid's childhood and her childhood at the same time. I think that's good. I think the drawings that she's doing as the Mattel employee weren't. I don't even know if you need that in there. Like, I think it gets you to Barbie not having the high heel feet and having like cellulite and everything, but I still thought that was odd.
Yeah, I mean a little bit, but also I think it's probably she's very clearly a receptionist when she could be doing so much more kind of situation.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Like, she should be doing designs for new models,
marketing ideas, that kind of stuff. Which it loops back around to by the end of the movie, because then she's like, just do an ordinary Barbie.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I did like that kind of twist, because even when Barbie is trying to meet Sasha at school, one of the other kids is like, don't even go to, like, she's gonna eat you alive. Like, don't even. So you think she's this like this really terrible person. She's just like, no, man, like, you ruined feminism for 50 years. And I was like, oh boy, yeah. I mean, okay, we're getting into it. Oh boy, all right, here we go.
Yeah, whose performance is excellent as well. Like,
yeah,
the daughter's performance is
Ariana
incredible.
Greenblatt. I don't know if I've seen her in anything else, but she's great. Yeah.
Yeah, here's a fun one for you. Apparently, she's young Ahsoka in the Ahsoka TV show.
She's also young Gamora in an Infinity War.
That would be why I recognize the face a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Also, can we talk about there being like 500 incredible actors in this movie, and a bunch of them just don't even have lines, like, or just their line is like, "Hi, Good morning, Barbie. Hi, Barbie."
Yes, "Hi, Barbie" and "Hi, Ken" seems to be the go-to line for 90% of these people.
Really, I mean, like
John Cena gets it. Like, he gets two lines.
Yep. I guess to sing a little bit. Well, that's probably not actually any of their voices, but I do like too that like your introduction to Ken is basically like he doesn't exist until Barbie pays attention to him. And it's like, man, that's a really good. I'm gonna beat you off. Oh, why don't you go beat yourself off?
For clarification for anybody listening, he's saying the word beach. The thing with the sand and the water on it.
That's a very, very good scene of just like.
I like the fact that his profession is just beach. Like, it's not even a particular profession. And when he's trying to find a job, that is really good. Like, that's some really good deadpan comedy acting when he's like, can I just do one little appendectomy? And she's like, no.
I love
Can I
his
speak to a doctor?
yeah.
You are.
I love that of like, can I speak to it? And then he sees like a guy in the background. He goes, "Ah, there you are, doctor," and like runs off after him. Like, also, like that when he goes to try and be a lifeguard,
Lifeguard.
and he's just like, "Oh, so you want? Well, I mean, there's no one in danger here. They're in danger by the water." He's like, "I'm not qualified to go over there."
Yeah.
It's just like it's really it's so good. I I my God, what else to talk about? I really love the unfolding of this movie pretty much as soon as America Ferrera has her now famous kind of speech at the end of the you have to be this but not this. You can't be this, you have to be this.
Yes,
like all that.
this is what it's like to be a woman in the real world scene.
Yeah, really,
which
really good.
I don't know what it is, but it feels like over the past like 2-3 years, I've seen a couple of these scenes where a woman explains what it's like to be a woman in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, great, say it.
Yeah,
hopefully
100%.
people will listen.
Yeah,
because people don't listen.
Right, dumb
like
men aren't going to listen, but
we saw it a lot in the political cycle with Hillary Clinton. Like, and you see that with AOC and any woman in any form of political position in America.
Any woman with an opinion.
Yeah, you raise your voice, you're angry, but a guy can yell and scream as much as they want, and it's
he's
it's
taking the bull by the horns.
Exactly,
he's a real go-getter.
Yeah. Yes, it's the stereotypical BS of that whole thing. It's just like, yeah, you all need to just open your eyes, please.
Yep. And I go ahead.
I will say I don't know how I feel about them doing the red pill, blue pill scene with shoes.
Yeah, I do like how this kind of leads into the kind of unfolding of all the Kens by using the like stereotypically masculine stuff against them. Like I liked a lot of it. I liked a lot of the like, can you help me with Photoshop? Can you do this? Can you do this? The Godfather one is the one that made me laugh the most, of just like, can you restart it and just talk all the way through it? As someone who
doesn't care about The Godfather, yes, 100%.
It's so good. Like, there's so many of those scenes that are so good. And because just like,
but the problem is, dude, there's so many of those guys who are just like that.
100%.
Like it's the anime guy. Like, I went on a first date and I showed them Cowboy Bebop. It's like, guy,
bro, literally another like cutting you to the bone. And then just like that Rob Thomas song that all the Kens are singing and playing on different instruments. Even John Cena is playing on the little ukulele. Like, just all of them being in love with this song that's like, it's fine, but certainly not the song you... I know it's the point. Like, it's certainly not the song you cite as your favorite song of all time in the history of the world. And then them kind of getting angry at each other, and then it all building to the storming the beach fight scene between all the Kens. Like,
yes. There's a lot going on in this movie.
Yeah.
But the fact that resolves itself into a dance, the dance number is...
It's perfect. It's just like the Sharks versus Jets dance number is just 100% perfect.
Yes. I don't know. I literally, there's so much that happens in this movie that I have no idea. Like, we haven't
even talked about Ray Perlman as the embodiment / potentially 17th floor ghost of the woman who created Barbie. Like, she's so good, and like hasn't been in enough stuff for a while. Probably that's her choice, if I was to assume. But her as in that role is just really, 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 really great.
I like the fact that it's a throwaway line, or it's like, yeah, Ghost keeps an office on the 17th floor. Like,
yeah, like stage whispers at somebody, like, and everyone's like, yes, 17th floor, right?
Everything is played so seriously. I like the fact that like they got away with Mattel being a villain. Like they
Yes.
put Mattel in the movie and made Mattel a villain. Like,
get in the box, you Jezebel.
yes, that's a very good line.
So good.
And then he literally asks, "Am I not even allowed to say Jezebel anymore?"
Right.
And it's like, really?
Yeah.
Come on.
That's such a good, like, super close to a racist dog whistle sort of thing. Where it's like, what? I'm not allowed to say that anymore. And it's like, bro, no.
Yes, that's the thing. I think the movie does so incredibly well. Is it like it literally it walks that line in such a way that I think is so incredible. Where it's like it's it's shining a light on these genuine issues, but at the same time it's making fun of them, and at the same time it's not taking them too seriously, but at the same time it's taking them, in some places it's taking them super seriously.
Well, it's an interesting balance between trying to cut to the bone about real issues like feminism and patriarchy and the role of women in the world, and all of those revolving kind of halo topics, while at the same time like trying, and I think succeeding, not being preachy about it, because that has to be a really delicate balance about, like, we're going to talk about this stuff that, whether you like it or not, affects everybody. Like, whether or not you want to, I should say, whether or not you want to admit that or not, that affects everybody, but without, like, putting down the soapbox and being like, all right, let's talk about how it really is. Like, we leave that to to Gloria's fantastic kind of monologue.
Yeah.
But the rest of it is a lot of like, yeah, man. All right. Yep. That's how it goes. I'm going to laugh a little bit, but also maybe cry a little bit at the end too. Yikes.
Yeah. Can we just mention, like, the commitment to the bit when it comes to this movie, like, is ridiculous. I mean, we talked about it earlier, like the showers with no water, the drinks with nothing, but we also forgot to mention the fact that the houses don't have external walls.
Right. And like it took me a while to realize, but the scale of everything is weird. Like it seems like everything is in the Barbie land, everything is sized to how the doll would be sized in the house. You know, like
which
Barbie
is
too
it's
big.
Not real sizing.
Yeah, like Barbie is too big inside of the house for
the car.
It to look...
That's why Ken can't sit in the front of the car, because there's only enough room for Barbie to sit in front.
Pops up in the background, them screaming while they're singing that song.
And like the roller skates, like everything, just so much. The outfits, the look, the feel, everything about it is so committed. The fact that they go into the clothing store and they come out in the cowboy outfits, and they're Barbie and Ken cowboy outfits,
right?
Like, it's just
when they're throwing clothes out of the windows and they like unfold and pose, and the logo comes up, and then they keep flying. That's really good. Like, there's a lot of. I think that's a part of the reason why we're having a little bit of a hard time talking about this movie, is we could sit here and we could go beat by beat for this movie and talk for literally the next 3.5 hours. And that's the hard part about this, is it really is funny, and it really is empowering, and it's touching, and it's vulnerable, and it's some of the dumbest, best filmmaking I've seen. Like the Ken versus Ken fight on the beach is just some of the dumbest, like the sword going under the armpit, going like,
yes,
and someone
it's not even a real sword.
No, like it's like a plastic sword.
Ryan Gosling's Ken gets shot with a sticky arrow, like an arrow with a sucker on the end, and actually he's been shot with a real one.
And then, like, Will Ferrell, one of the people getting shot, and you're like, did someone give them guns? And Will Ferrell's character's like, obviously not. Come on, this isn't real. These aren't real weapons. Like, they know it's dumb, but the Kens are fighting to the death.
And like it even transitions over to the real world, like the whole realization scene where Barbie realizes she's not connected to the daughter, but she's connected to the mother.
Mm-hmm.
It's this great little sequence, especially when it's like they do a whole car chase action scene where it's just three Chevy SUVs chasing each other, by the way,
Yep.
for the record.
Yep.
Like the fact that the good guy has a hybrid one and the other two have regular old gasoline
Right.
ones, by the
Right.
way, just as
That's a
an
good
aside.
catch.
And the fact that the mom like does some really aggressive driving and the kid's like, "Where did you learn to drive like that?" And she was like, "Oh, it's some guy." And the kid's like, "Was it dad?" And she's like, "Yes. Yes, it was your dad." And then Barbie just gives this knowing little nod in the back seat where it's like,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I know what's going on. Yeah.
And then when you actually see the dad, it's like, no, it wasn't the dad.
Yeah, it's definitely not
100%
this
was
dad
not the dad.
who's having a real hard time learning Spanish.
Is it? I wasn't sure if it was Spanish or possibly a different language because I don't know the exact heritage. Is it Colombian? Do
I
do
wonder
they
if
speak Spanish in Colombia?
Yeah, I
Because
wonder if it is
it didn't
Spanish.
sound Spanish to me.
Yeah, interesting. I'd have to
But
go look.
I'm a cis white guy who only speaks one language, two languages,
Right.
English and bad English. So
There you go.
therefore,
That's right.
Fifth Element, still a good joke. 10 years,
Right.
20 years later, dude.
That's right. You got him. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we missed here that's really great. I mean, all of it is really great. I really, really liked this movie. I think if there are any problems that I had with it, it's all going to be pretty minor things or things that didn't hit for me because it wasn't my kind of shared experience, like Weird Barbie or like some of the versions of Skipper. Like that stuff is just not, that's gonna go fly right over my head.
I mean, we're also not the target for this movie. Like, we might as well like deal with that because, like, number one, we're guys, but also number two, we're white guys,
Right?
and number three, we're relatively in touch with the fact that most dudes are monstrous idiots who are complete a-holes. Like, take 100 guys, probably at least 80 of them are nightmare people. Would be that's my guess at the approximation of
that's a safe estimate. Yeah.
And it's like people who don't realize what they do, people who are quote unquote raised differently. They're just quote unquote old school and all this other stupid excuses that get thrown around for males across the planet. We're aware of all that stuff. So like, I think the funny thing is I don't think the punches hit as hard as they could. Where the whole Ken realization, it's funny, but it's not a gut punch like I think it's supposed to be because we're like, yeah, dude, we know. We're aware.
Patriarchy hurts everybody. Ken, come on.
Like, we know. Like,
yeah.
I think the whole point of that reveal is for the women of the audience to find it funny and be like, yeah, they get it.
Yeah.
And for the males who are not aware of it to be like gut punched into think, oh crap, yeah, maybe the movie's got a point.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like I struggle with this movie because it's delivering a very serious message against the patriarchy, against the fact that society is run by men and it's always been run by men. But it's doing it in a comedy. And I think the problem, the issue I have with that is because that's the only way they would get away with making that message.
Sure, right.
Like if it was a serious movie or if it was the Schindler's List of the patriarchy kind of thing, like it wouldn't get made. Like that's the problem.
Yeah.
And it's also kind of what this movie is saying, but also at the same time it's bending into that to get made, to make the message. And
it's like winking at you at the same time being like, we know how we had to make this happen. Like Yeah. I don't know. I really liked it. I had a much better time watching it than I was really expecting, kind of laughing and grimacing at the same time, which is pretty impressive overall. So let's do ratings here real quick. Almost didn't want to do this because it's the internet. IMDb at 6.9 out of 10 at 469,000 ratings. Rotten Tomatoes doesn't have a tomato meter score. I don't know if I missed something. I feel like there might have been like a
Lord.
self-preservation thing, but scrolling down here on Rotten Tomatoes, the ratings all seem to be very, very high. So, and with like a handful of people rating it, just being like, "Why'd they make this kids movie like this?" And it's like, shut up, Jesus Christ.
Oh, you said it doesn't have a tomato meter?
Not for does it have one for you?
88%.
There you go. Okay. I have an audience score of 83% here.
I get that one too.
Okay. So maybe it's just my computer. And then
Maybe.
Letterboxd has it at a 3.9 out of
88% is considered an advertisement, so it's been pie holed.
Oh. There you go. Yep. That's what it does. And Letterboxd has a 3.9 out of 5 for 26,000 fans. So, pretty good. I was expecting a lot of that to be like a Steam review for a video game because there happened to be a lady in it. So, yeah. one star, woke, 1 star. So
10,000 hours mostly negative.
That's
I can't believe they put a trans character in this game.
That's right. How dare they do this thing that I don't like? Grumble, grumble, grumble.
Yeah. Honestly, like 3.5 to 4 out of 5, like 7 to 8 out of 10, I think is probably about where I sit with her.
Yeah,
like
I think I'm a little.
That's about my feelings.
I'm a little higher than that. I'm probably in like the 4.5 to 9 ranking because I really liked it. So, but it's either way, it's a great movie. Just go watch it.
Yeah.
We only talked about maybe 10% of this movie.
Yeah, I mean, one of my biggest issues with it is it's. If I'm gonna talk negatively about it, it's the fact that it has the same message, and in some scenes and some sequences, it repeats the same message it's still trying to say, and then it just belabors that point for way too long. Like when Barbie has to make their decision at the end of the movie, it's like 3 or 4 sequences where it's like, what's Barbie gonna do again and again and again?
Right.
Like that felt like it could have been compressed into 2 scenes, maybe even just the one.
Right.
But minor niggles like that is no big deal. Like that stuff doesn't bother me. And like on a wider picture, that stuff doesn't affect me in the slightest.
Right. All right. Well, that is season 26. Those are our top 2 movies of 2023. We'll see. We'll see if there's a infamous movie for 2024 once we get to this point next year. Wanted to remind everybody that we do a production meeting in between seasons over on the Patreon page at patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones on numbers.
That's a $5 tier exclusive. We just recorded the season 27 production meeting yesterday, and they're all good, but I feel like this one was especially great. And it's, of course, we just went in there to do a quick one because we had one we thought of, and then it took an hour.
Yep.
So
shocks.
Yeah.
Who would have thought it?
Surprise. So please go, if you're a patron, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Please go listen to that when it comes out between these 2 seasons. And if you're not a patron, please go sign up for the $5 tier over on patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers, tell your friends.
That's right. And all right, that's it. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.